analyses of sorts. A quick one today. You know, recently I had conversations with two of my friends, and there was something really concerning that I picked up on as I was talking to them. My one friend that I've known for a very long time is somebody that understands my position, my stance, my fight to try and get back South Africa and get it back from the hands of foreigners, from the hands of NGOs, from the hands of George Soros, the Committee of 300. He understands me. He knows very well where I stand. But I have found that every time we have these types of conversations, he grows quiet and just turns into a listener. He, and what I picked up on is the fact that he pretends to be with me. He pretends to, like, yeah, we're in this thing together. But really, all he wants is a 9 to 5. He's job hunting right now, and my other friend as well, job hunting. Let me not say the other one is my friend. He's just a guy that I went to school with. The reason I don't want to call him my friend is, well, maybe I'll tell you during the course of this video. But I found, and these two guys, they're men, but no courage. And this is what I keep finding, that every time it's time for action, every time we take it away from social media and it's time to actually act on what we discuss, act on our plans, these guys aren't really about it, man. They're not really about it. And that's concerning to me because if we're going to war and you've got men with cold feet, men that aren't really willing to sacrifice, that don't really want to fight, that just want to find their way somehow into the middle class and pray these problems away or hope that they never come to their doorsteps. That for me is the height of cowardice. When you can see what the problem is, you understand what the problem is, but you are unwilling to do anything that could sacrifice or potentially jeopardize your position or your money. And this is the trap. When I speak to these guys, they understand how deep the problem is in South Africa and that it's going to require some radical actions for us to get the country back. But they are unwilling. They pretend like they are, but you can feel it. You can feel their energy. And they're not really there with you. Like I'm talking and I realize, man, I'm alone in this thing because these guys don't want to fight. They're hoping they can somehow hide in the middle class and not address this problem and not confront it head on. This is the case with many people and many South Africans that can see the problems we're facing, but they'll keep telling you about government. Guys, we don't have a government. We don't have a police force. We don't have courts. We don't have any of these things that you guys think we have. And I'm tired of you guys hiding behind, oh, but the police must do their job. Oh, but immigration must do their job. We don't have immigration. We don't have border management. We don't have a police force. We don't have these things. Stop hiding behind, oh, it's not my job to do it. Whose job is it then? Back in the day, our people, right, before this colonial or this colonial civilization was imposed on us, the people had to take care of their own affairs. There was no, but this is not for me and it's not my job. It's no, the country is under attack and the people, the citizens need to step up. You can't hide behind your job anymore. You can't hide behind your 9 to 5. And that 9 to 5 is there to silence you. It's bribery. It's pure bribery. You are being paid to keep your mouth shut. You are being paid and given these goals and objectives. You want to buy a car, you want to buy a house. So you're working away, slaving away so you can be a consumer. Not so you can create, not so you can produce, not so that you can help your country move forward, but so that you can be a consumer who can afford things. See, that's the plight of most Africans. They want to afford things. They don't want to create, they don't want to manufacture, they don't want to develop. They want to be able to afford. They want to be consumers. That's their life's quest, their life goal, their mission in life is I want to be able to afford this thing. These are not real goals. These are not real destinies. You mean to tell me your destiny is to be able to afford a Mercedes Benz, a Lamborghini, a McLaren? These are lives that are void of impact, impactless lives. You sold out to corporations. You sold out to the oligarchs. You sold out under the guise of, oh, this is my dream. These are not legitimate dreams, guys. You've sold out on the mission of protecting your culture, protecting your country, protecting what's yours, the land that your ancestors fought to give you. You're just handing over on a silver platter to these foreigners, to these NGOs, to these oligarchs. Shameful stuff. You should be ashamed of yourself. People fought to give you this inheritance called your land, your country, your homeland, your culture, and you're doing nothing to protect and defend them. You guys are selfish. You're concerned about a 9 to 5. And all of that is a trap. And it just shows how narcissistic you are, that you've inherited all of this privilege that people died to give you. And then when it's time for you to pay it forward and give it to the next generation, you don't want to. Now you want to be selfish and talk about, oh, as long as I'm good and me and my family. You guys are selfish. People died to give you the things that you have today, to give you this culture that you pretend that you're so proud of today. And you can't pay it forward for the next generation. You can't make the same sacrifices. You know, I asked one of the other guys, are you willing to die to protect your homeland or to fight for what's right, to challenge your government? And he said, no. No surprises there. The guy's from Zimbabwe. And again, like I said, he's not my friend. He's just a guy that I went to school with. And I asked him, what are you gonna do to solve the problems in your country? This guy was too busy telling me about the problems in South Africa. And I said, okay, in your country, Zimbabwe, what are you doing to solve those problems there? Mind you, he lives in South Africa. He's job hunting in South Africa. He studies in South Africa. No intentions, no plans of going back to Zimbabwe. When he talks about Zimbabwe, he talks about how, oh, there's political killings and you get assassinated and killed if you speak out against the government. I'm like, that should not stop you from doing what's right for your country because that's your homeland. You're a grown man running away from the problems in your country, escaping to another man's country, a country that people had to die for to protect. Men died to protect this country. You're escaping to those countries instead of doing what you're supposed to do for your own country, which is to stand up to your government and die for your culture, die for your freedoms. But these guys don't have the bravery. And even my actual friend, the other guy that I was talking to, he's just looking for a 9 to 5. He talks as if he's radical, like, yeah, yeah, we're in it together, my brother, we're gonna do this guy. And then when it's time for action, when it's time to have boots on the ground, when it's time to hit the streets, no, he's busy or he's doing this and that certification to try to get a job. And I'm not against education or trying to better yourself. But what are you doing for your country? What sacrifices are you making for your country? You're just there to consume. All the sacrifices that people made to give you, you're just there to enjoy them and consume them. But you're paying nothing forward for the future generations because you don't care. You're selfish, you're a narcissist, and everything is about you. But you're happy to enjoy the privileges that other people's blood was shed for. This type of mentality makes me sick because I understand what it was, what it took for people to fight in wars, to resist colonial oppression, to be tortured, to suffer, and to not sell out, so that you today can so easily sell out for a 9 to 5. But Fetu, we don't need 9 to 5s. This system was imposed on us. We were living off the land just fine before colonialism, before imperialism put us in this system. This monetary system, which is a Ponzi scheme, it's a pyramid scheme. You're working a 9 to 5, slaving away, while the inventors, the creators of the system, are printing money and putting you in debt. Make it make sense. Depriving you of ownership of anything that you need to survive. For example, land. The very resources you need, they're making you pay for things that the land gives you, things that are free. Water is free. We used to farm and live off the land happily, and we were told that that wasn't enough, that we have to be a part of this system, a financial system which is a complete scam. But you guys are fighting to keep this capitalistic system alive because you have such low self-esteem that you seek validation from this system. Social media has poisoned your mind into thinking that success is owning a certain car brand or dressing in certain European brands. You don't understand that success is manufacturing, creating your own for your own people, for your own community, for your own society. Producing your own. That is success. Not affording, not consuming. That is failure. That's why people from failed states are obsessed with materialism instead of producing things that their people need. And that's why their countries will never grow and will never develop. We were fine before the system was introduced to us. So why are you guys so obsessed with materialism? Why does your self-esteem need this so much to post pictures on Instagram of your vacations while your people are... We also what happened to AJ visiting Nigeria. No medical services, no ambulance came out. He was being pulled out of the car. Like, I mean, imagine if he had severe injuries. That's a collapsed, failed system in Nigeria. But they will tell you that no, we're rich. You'll see them driving Lamborghinis and posting on Instagram, but you don't have an ambulance, my guy. Your country doesn't have an ambulance or emergency services. What's there to brag about? The fact that you're driving a European car, it just shows how colonized you are. Instead of producing things that your country actually needs, you're obsessed with acquiring European things so you can brag to other Africans and make yourself seem like you're above them because of material possessions. But the basics of life, being able to produce water and electricity for your people, you guys are failing at that. But you're driving a Lamborghini. You guys are morons. You're idiots. Nigerians are idiots. They're stupid. And it's a shame that that mentality is spreading across all of Africa. I'm even seeing it in South Africa, where the obsession is with acquiring material possessions instead of standing out and speaking out against the government and taking action. Guys, we're headed towards a very violent outcome in order to win this country back. And some of you are shying away from it, and it makes me sick. You guys are cowards. You don't deserve this, South Africa. People died to give this South Africa to you. You're too cowardly to do the same for future generations. You're trying to preserve your own life. Why? Waris, DJ Waris died a hero, a noble man doing what was right for the community. He was assassinated for doing the right thing. Many of our people have been killed for doing the right thing. At some point, it's going to be our turn. But you have to make sure you die doing the right thing. Don't die a coward in hiding, hoping that these problems don't come to your doorstep because they eventually will. And then by the time you want to respond, it'll be too late. There's nothing I hate more than cowardice. This 9 to 5 you're nursing is a trap. They're buying your silence with that measly salary. By the 20th, the 21st of the month, you already run out of money. Living hand to mouth, renting. If you miss one payment, you lose everything. That's not life. Where's your ownership of the essential things that you need to become a functional society? You don't need a Mercedes Benz to become a functional society. These are things that you don't need, they're unnecessary. What about electricity? What about providing food security? What about security for your people? Water, energy, things you actually need, infrastructure that works. No, you're too busy concerned with buying Gucci, Balenciaga, Dior, handbags and purses and weaves and makeup. Stupid things that don't add any value. You see, the ambitions of the society today are geared towards, aimed towards how they can get rich quickly, and they take every type of shortcut that they can. One of the fastest ways to get rich today is to get into politics and to be a part of the corruption, to be a part of the criminal syndicates. There's nothing virtuous anymore in how people are living. That 9 to 5 you're nursing and protecting and defending so much, where you're probably working to fund the very corporations, the oligarchs that are oppressing us. You're keeping the system of oppression alive. You work for it. You graduated, you got a degree so that you can work for this very same corporations and companies that are keeping our people oppressed, for the very same government that's keeping our people oppressed. At some point, we have to wake up to the reality that we must self-govern. We don't need the government. And at some point, we have to boycott taxes and stop paying them. We can easily use that money to govern ourselves, appoint our own people, and run this country ourselves. You guys don't understand. Countries are companies. Your politicians and your government are puppets that have been assigned. They've been put there to maintain the colonial structures of old, to maintain neocolonialism. And it has nothing to do with race. It has to do with a group of individuals that have a vision to control the entire world, that are running countries remotely using puppet governments. For you to get back your country, you have to take down your own government. And that includes, in some instances, dying, getting killed, doing the right thing. But you people would rather die cowards hiding, in hiding, nursing and protecting a measly salary that can't change your life and that has no impact. Life is not about a 9 to 5. Life is about having impact, guys. You have to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, does my life have a profound impact on my community? Does your existence have an impact on people's lives in a positive way? Not just you acquiring material things so that you can boast that you're successful to people that are being oppressed by the very same system that you're supporting. Whether you're supporting it with your money, your labor, your effort, your energy, your time and attention, the things you do on the internet, what are you supporting? What do you advocate for? Don't live your life just ignorantly going by. And a lot of you use the excuse that, oh, I've got bills to pay, I've got children to feed, blah, 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 blah. You guys are all cowards. If we actually came together and stood up against our governments and collapsed our governments, we would be far more prosperous because we'd have ownership and we'd be able to manufacture things that allow us to be rich and productive and to live fulfilled lives. But you guys don't want that. You want to be part of the system. You want to be trapped by the system. You want to be trapped by a 9 to 5. So you can have the excuse that you're too busy to care about quote unquote politics or things that are affecting people on the ground. Bunch of cowards. I have no respect for people like that. We should be creating our own jobs, creating our own sectors, our own industries, coming together within our communities, helping each other improve our skills, upscaling our skills, developing our skills, sending people in our communities to go receive an education, sending them to college, sending them to university, sending them to school, empowering our own people with our own money instead of paying taxes and empowering these stupid people in government that are not giving themselves a salary increase, 4.1 salary increase. You saw it. That's what they always do. They always announce these things in December when the whole country is drunk. $500 million a day on liquor. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna start a boycott movement. We're gonna boycott all of these things. The entire addiction industry is going to be boycotted. We're going to stop supporting these things, come hell or high water, by fire or by force, I'm telling you. Because these things are destroying our youth, destroying our future. Drugs, alcohol, all this nonsense, even the internet and social media itself. Guys, wake up. Get out of the trap of your 9 to 5 that's stopping you from being active in the things that matter, that's stopping you from having an impact. We've got to figure out other streams where we can generate. It's not even about generating income. It's about having sustainable ways of just taking care of one another within our communities. We have different skills that we can use to keep each other alive. And from that, we can become prosperous, but we have to work together. You have to know who your neighbors are and what skills they have and how you can improve their skills and how they can improve your skills. We were living just fine before this current economic structure was imposed on us. That's why I like when Nhlanhla Lux talks about going back, Mahaye, going back to the kings and chiefs and asking for land and farming, getting out of these cities, these apartments where you're paying upwards of 10,000 Rand for a small little shoebox apartment and thinking that that is success. That is not success. You're being exploited. You're being sent to these labor camps in the CBD, working for the oligarchs to keep their system of oppression over you alive with your skills that you've obtained in university, instead of using your skills to start sectors, start industries that can employ our people and empower them with things that they can use to impact society and bring solutions, not just a meaningless 9 to 5 that has no impact on people's lives. I'm not saying we don't need jobs, but we need the right types of jobs that empower us in our communities, not jobs that are adding more profits to a system of oppression, a colonial system of oppression. Some of you are happy to be working for companies that have a colonial past, that are oppressing our people, that are taking jobs away from our people because we can't compete with our local companies against these international companies. We've got to figure this thing out, and we have to stop being slaves to 9 to 5 jobs, because these 9 to 5 jobs are not changing our lives. They're not changing our circumstances. They're just keeping us alive enough to survive, but we have no impact. We're living impactless lives with these 9 to 5s. They're bribing you with the 9 to 5, buying your silence, rendering you useless and ineffective. And a lot of you, once you get your degrees, you're happy to just resign in this 9 to 5, knowing that you have no impact. But in your mind, that's a nice, quiet life with no problems. This is our problem. A generation filled with cowards that don't want to fight, but that are entitled to every privilege that our ancestors fought for. Our ancestors are rolling in their graves watching us right now take the easy way out because nobody wants to die for their country. You guys don't deserve anything good, man. You don't want to fight. You don't want to die. You don't want to stand up to the government. You don't even want to sign petitions. You don't want to do anything. And I'm not saying that these things will necessarily bring about any change, but at least show some type of activity. Get involved on the ground in your community. In my community, we clean our own roads. We clean our own streets. We clean our own infrastructure. We take out our own trash. We do these things ourselves. Municipality is not going to do it. And guess what? When we show up the municipality, we start getting death threats. They start telling us, why are we trying to take their jobs? Why are we threatening them? These people don't care. We have to care. We must care about our own communities, or else South Africa is going to end up like Nigeria. Nigerians do not care about Nigeria. Those people are not proud. They're not patriotic about their country. It's all fake what they say on the internet about being proud Nigerians. They're not. Look at the state and condition of their country. That does not show any pride in their culture and who they are as a people. If we don't want to end up like those people, we got to do what's right and fight and die for our country. Running away, escaping, immigrating to other countries is not the solution. It will not work. And we as South Africans shouldn't even think for 1 second of running away. We stay in our country, we die in our country, we resolve our problems in our country. Stop being cowards and stop being economic slaves, slaves of materialism, slaves of consumerism. Start creating sectors, start manufacturing, start creating jobs that have an impact in our communities. And let's bankrupt all these oligarchs, all these major big companies, big corporations, big international corporations that are taking our economy away from our people. Get out of this trap of a 9 to 5 and stop using it as an excuse to be ineffective and to have no impact in your country and to have no impact regarding solving the problems that your country is facing. We don't need more 9 to 5s. We need more impact in our communities. Speak to your community and figure things out in your community, in your neighborhood. Solve problems. Your 9 to 5 is buying your silence and rendering you docile and ineffective. You're slaving away, having no impact where it really matters for your people. Some of you, you get a job, you leave your kasi, even though your kasi is what needs solutions. Why would you leave? You should go back to your homelands, go back to your kasi and solve problems. Stop running away to the CBD, stop running away to the suburbs. Go back to where you come from and solve problems there. Anyway, that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you for tuning in.